Hello my wonderful, beautiful friends, guys. Welcome back to r/EntitledPeople, where people truly believe that the world's all about them and nobody matters. And in this episode, guys, a crazy Karen decides that her daughter needs OP's underwear, and she steals it and calls the cops over it. I hope you enjoyed today's lineup. Don't shake your heads too hard. And guys, story submissions can be sent to this email right here. We're diving in. So my aunt has always been a jealous and entitled creature who always tries to comb through a tragic situation to find some factor that doesn't relate to her at all to make it all about her, regardless of the situation. And if she can't find any factor, she gets mad and she makes it directly known that she's the one who should be pitied. Just recently, my cousin's son had to go through a rather serious and terrifying surgery where they had to crack his skull open. He's 3 years old, and he was born after 4 miscarriages, so obviously the family was on pins and needles, hoping for a successful surgery and fast, painless recovery for him. Everybody except for my aunt. Now, I'm not sure if the idea of her not being the one getting all the attention is what threw her over the edge or what, but her response was nothing short of disgusting. In the family group chat that my mom and aunt are a part of are all the siblings, which I believe is about 6 people. My one uncle was sending updates all day as he had driven out there to be there the day of his grandson's procedure. So of course, everyone was replying anxiously for updates. Everyone except my aunt. She took it upon herself to text my mom how annoying it was to constantly be receiving text messages from everyone about my cousin. My mom reminded her that this toddler was going through a super intense and possibly deadly surgery and that everyone was nervous. My aunt then made it apparent to point out that this kid always has problems when anyone brings him up. It's just problem after problem. This is because my cousin was born quite a few months premature, so of course he's got some issues going on. My mom was already mad at this and reminded her that if this was her grandson, that she'd want everyone to give her, her son, and his child nice comments, thoughts, and prayers, and she shouldn't be acting this way about a toddler getting surgery. My aunt's only other one response was that everyone's being over-dramatic about him, and it wasn't that serious. At that point, I almost damn near lost it. I despised this woman with a passion, and I can't imagine being so self-absorbed that you tell someone that a 3-year-old skull being cracked open like a coconut for surgery is over-dramatic, and she wonders why nobody talks to her. Yeah, so it sounds to me like it's about time Aunt Karen becomes the black sheep, guys. Like, block her from the family group chat and ban her from future family events because clearly she doesn't care about anybody else but her. Like, if she can say that about a 3-year-old, imagine all the crap she's saying about everyone else, guys. Like, it's time to start a new group chat without her. So I just remembered this one because it was such a blue screen of death that my brain could not process it for a long time. This happened years ago, when I was working the info desk of my bookstore job. That's when a mom customer walks up to me and asked, "So my daughter loves the so-and-so series. Do you know where they are?" I then show her the section where the books were and even helped her find the newest release, guaranteed to not be in her daughter's collection yet. Grandma customer has been following along with an expression akin to someone who swallowed the world's biggest lemon, no sugar included. That's when I hear grandma customer saying, "Hey, why is she getting presents?" To which mom customer responds, "Because it's her birthday." That's when grandma customer says, "So when are we shopping for my presents?" And mom customer says, "When your birthday comes around." Grandma customer then says, "I'd better get presents at this party." And that's when the two begin an argument that I hastily retreat from. At this point, my brain's insisting that I misheard or I just misunderstood what grandma was saying because the other idea was just too ludicrous. Sadly, this wasn't the case. A few days later, mom customer comes in absolutely fuming. Sparks are practically flying from her eyes, and she's carrying a destroyed book. The book that she had bought for the little girl's birthday. Apparently, grandma grabbed the unwrapped book, ripped the cover off, slammed it down in the middle of the birthday cake, and then proceeded to eat chunks out of the cake while everybody was outside playing games. And the reason was, grandma customer was mad that she didn't get any presents at the little girl's birthday party, so she went on a rampage to punish somebody for not giving her presents. Let me know how many times you had to reread that last paragraph before you're able to understand this mind-blowing concept. Fortunately, she was able to find a replacement for the destroyed book, and the manager okayed a straight replacement after hearing the story. My goodness, guys, imagine being a grown-up and demanding presents at a little kid's birthday party, and then destroying everything when you find out you're not getting presents. Like, it's so funny because usually grandmas are the ones spoiling the grandkids, not the ones throwing tantrums demanding to be spoiled. So I spend Thursday mornings working at the food bank, helping distribute food. Each Thursday, the food bank gets a ton to 3 tons of food to hand out, all for free. Breads, desserts, meats, vegetables, and more. People can get 2 boxes of food, depending what comes from the regional warehouse. Each box of food is $25 to $50, and occasionally a lot more. Some people have gone home with packs of lobsters, whole turkeys, hams, scallops, and such. We even have toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoo, hair color, vitamins, pet food, and non-alcoholic mixers for drinks. If you can get it in a big grocery store, we will get it eventually. The items are 100% free. There's no ID, no paperwork, and we even load it into the vehicle. The food bank has a crew of volunteers that start showing up at 8 a.m. to prepare and sort the boxes. We sort through stuff and toss anything bad. We toss a good bit of produce, moldy bread, packages that are broken open, damaged cans, etc. The produce and bread goes to feed a volunteer's hogs and some horses. Other bread goes to feed chickens several volunteers have. It's also important to note here that my county has about 8,800 people in it, and 98% of the people over the age of 18 know who I am, unless they're deliberately avoiding contact with the outside world. I'm not exaggerating. Also, I speak to every driver who comes up as I direct traffic during distribution. So after a recent Thursday, the phone rings at the office and my office manager catches the call. She listens to Karen for a minute and then she says, "Oh, you need to talk to OP." Before handing the call over, my manager says that Karen's complaining that she got some expired meat. And right away I'm thinking, yeah, 80% of the stuff is past the sell-by date. So I grab the phone and say, "Hi, this is OP, what can I do for you?" Karen replies, "Hi, yeah. So I don't know if this is a matter that deserves public attention, but you guys need to know that you're giving out expired food." Now I do want to note that she did not say meat. So I tell her, well, we try to sort the food out and we throw away anything that's damaged. Also, I eat it. Karen then says, "Well, I have 5 children and 7 grandchildren. And yesterday, this is a problem. I got a cake where all the icing was knocked off. It's damaged. So what are you gonna do about this?" I respond, you can eat a cake without icing, ma'am. I have. We're not gonna do anything about this, as people know to accept things in as-is condition. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, what the F? Her children and grandkids won't eat a cake without icing? Now, it's important to note here that each Thursday, I do a live video from the food bank. I say what we have, what the truck is probably bringing, and I point out that everyone is a volunteer. I even ask for help. I literally say, if you can carry a bag of potato chips, you can help, which is true. We put chip bags in the boxes too. No heavy lifting whatsoever. Every time someone complains about what's in their box, I ask for them to come help sort the food on Thursday. Precisely 2 people have shown up to help, and 1 has kept coming back. With that said, Karen sputters and says, "Well, you just don't care about the people you're feeding." To which I respond, "No, ma'am, we care. You are welcome to come help us sort the food to make sure nothing bad gets distributed." And with that, she hangs up the phone. My goodness, guys, some people just can't be grateful for what they get, right? And only Karens will call and complain about free food that she got from the food bank. Like, ma'am, if you don't like the way the cake looks, you're always welcome to go buy your own cake at a supermarket near you. So this happened about 3 years ago. I had just moved into my first apartment. Granted, it wasn't in the best part of town. There wasn't a lot of crime or violence or anything like that, but everybody was super rude and didn't know basic etiquette. These people made even cavemen look like the Rockefellers. So at the time, I didn't have a job and I couldn't find one. So I decided to make some money on the side by babysitting the local kids. I mean, how bad could it be, am I right? So So one night, I was cooking dinner for myself and my boyfriend while he was studying for an exam for law school at the kitchen table. We had a sign that we made and put outside of our door that said, "Do not disturb unless it's an emergency," because it's really hard for him to focus on his studying when our ever-nosy neighbors come around. Suddenly, we hear a knock at the door. We just decide to ignore it and hope the person read the sign and went away. They did, but a few minutes later, they came back and they knocked again. I opened it this time, and enters a little girl, a 6-year-old, and her mom, who we know but just barely. I say to the woman, "Oh, hi, what's up?" She says, "I need you to babysit my daughter right now." At that I say, "Okay, right now though, my husband and I are busy," gesturing at the sign on the door. I then say, "You'll have to come back another time to discuss rates first and then I'll..." She then interrupts me and says, "Discuss rates? Discuss rates? You should trust that I would pay you. Anyway, I only need you to watch her now because we're not looking for full time or anything, just once." I reply, "I'm sorry, but I can't do that right now." She then says, "I'll pay you $50 to watch her for the night." Hearing her say that, I looked helplessly at my boyfriend. We could really use the money. So I look at him and he says, "Okay, I guess." And the woman says, "Thank God. Here, take her." She then flounced out the door and I was left with her kiddo. And things did go well for about half an hour until I had to use the washroom. Coming out, I could hear her giggling in my bedroom. Now, I'm usually careful about hiding my lingerie, but we had just moved in, and the stuff was inside an open box on the bed marked bedroom. I found the girl, and not only was she playing with all my makeup, but she had taken off all her bottoms, and she was wearing my leopard print underwear. She was walking around the room saying, "Look at me, I'm a leopard." To which I say, "I can see that, but please put your clothes back on, and that underwear is mine." To which the girl says, "Nope, it's mine now." She then zooms around the apartment wearing it, and I decided to pick my battles and went to the kitchen to talk to my boyfriend. He gave me a knowing glance after I explained the situation, and he says, "It's gonna be a long night, isn't it?" Well, we finally end up making it through the night, and finally morning came and Karen comes to pick up her daughter. The daughter was crying, but I didn't know why at the time, but it was because she wanted my leopard print underwear. Later that same day, my boyfriend and I were about to leave for a late lunch when the woman shows up at our door. My boyfriend answers and says, "Good afternoon." The woman asked, "Is OP there?" My boyfriend calls for me and I come to the door saying, "Hi." The woman says, "There you are. I've been waiting for so long. So my daughter left her favorite teddy bear here last night and I have to go get it." I say to her, "Oh, okay, but I don't remember her bringing a teddy bear with her, but I did let the mom come in to retrieve it because I thought I was remembering wrong because of what the kid had done." It turns out I was right. There was no teddy bear. A few minutes later, she left, and after she left, my boyfriend turned to me and said, "Did you see her leave with a teddy bear? Like, what was she actually looking for?" I say to him, maybe it was just a really small one." Now at this point, I was trying to ignore the feeling I had that something of ours had been stolen. But my boyfriend had the same feeling, so we went through our valuables together and nothing was missing. We both felt very guilty for misjudging Karen. It wasn't until a few days later when I wanted to wear my leopard print lingerie set and I couldn't find my bottoms. My boyfriend immediately knew what happened and he was ready to storm over to Karen's apartment, but I tried to discourage him as I thought I'd probably just misplaced it after taking it off her kid. My boyfriend convinced me, and we went anyway and we knocked on her door and Karen opens it and says, "What?" My boyfriend says, "Hi, sorry to bother you, but I think you have something of ours." Karen says, "No, I don't." My boyfriend says, "You do. We think you stole OP's lingerie." She replies, "Why would I do something like that? Who do you think I am? I'm calling the police. I didn't break any laws." At that, my boyfriend says, "Be my guest, but you did break the law." The woman says, "How would you know?" She then called the police, and when they showed up, my boyfriend explained the whole story to them, and the woman started to break down in tears, admitting to taking the underwear. She says to the cops, "They gave my daughter the underwear and then they took it away. They are so greedy. They're ruining my daughter." My boyfriend says, "And how the heck are we ruining your daughter?" Karen responds, "She needs to learn to share, and you didn't." The police just laughed at the situation. It turns out she'd been arrested before for breaking and entering, and I do feel bad for the daughter, getting stuck with a mom like that. I feel like she only acted entitled because she was little and she was never taught otherwise. So yeah, the post ends right there, guys, and honestly, I don't even know what to say. Like, of the weirdest things Karens have demanded from people, I'd have to say leopard print underwear has gotta be, like, close to the top. Like, lady, tell your daughter no. I can understand an iPad, a Nintendo Switch, like some sort of object, but going back to OP's apartment to steal her underwear because your daughter wanted it, sometimes you just gotta say, gross. No, we're not going back. We're gonna find you something else to play with. So for a bit of context, I'm a 24-year-old female and I used to work at a sandwich shop, named after a public transportation, in my hometown when I was 19. My manager and I were working a shift together one day and the lunch rush had just ended, so she was mostly confined to the back, balancing the safe and washing dishes, while I handled cleaning the front of the house and the line. That's when I saw a woman approaching the store and quickly made my way behind the line and washed up. The woman comes in with her phone pressed to her ear, and I was already on edge because of that alone. Customers who refuse to get off their phone to communicate their order are always difficult to deal with. But I welcomed her, and I asked her what I could get for her. The woman says a turkey sandwich, very curtly, and then she turned back to her phone. The entire time I tried to take her order, she would just say rude, snarky comments, and would tell me, just make the damn sandwich. How hard can it be? I swear, you're all so stupid, it's hard to believe you have jobs. When she said that, I was irritated, but I continued smiling. But I could no longer force it to meet my eyes. I asked her what dressing she would like, and she said mustard. She refused to answer if she wanted regular, spicy, or honey mustard, so I just put the regular mustard on it. After she angrily told me, stop asking stupid questions. So I finished the sandwich, rang up her sandwich and drink, and I hoped she would just leave after she was done. But no. The woman finishes 2/3 of her sandwich and she comes stomping back to my register, slams the sandwich on the counter, and starts non-stop ringing the bell to get my attention. At that, I set down the prep I was doing and put on the best smile that I could muster and went back to my register. The woman then yells at me that I would remake her sandwich for free because clearly she asked for honey mustard, accusing me of putting the wrong mustard on her sandwich to spite her. At that point, my manager butts in, having heard everything. She came up behind me and she saw the woman had eaten the majority of the sandwich, and she told the woman that she seemed happy with the sandwich and refused the remake. It's at that point, the woman picks up her sandwich and she throws it at me. Luckily, it only got on my jeans and apron, but my manager said that she needed to leave or they would call the cops. The lady then continued to argue that now her sandwich was ruined and we needed to remake it for her. My manager then pushed me behind her and told me to go finish my prep. I'm only on the other side of the wall and I hear everything. My manager's boyfriend was a cop, so she pulls out her phone and calls him and starts telling him how one of her employees had just been assaulted by a horrible customer. I had met the guy several times and he was an awesome guy. Well, this scared off Karen and we went about our day-to-day duties. I end up quitting after a few months when one of my coworkers thought it was funny to touch me with a cookie tray that she had just pulled out of the oven. Which brings us to a couple of months ago. I go to the same sandwich shop because I was in the area and a sandwich sounded good. I did a double take when I saw that same woman behind the counter, and she seemed to recognize me too because she looked like a shocked Pikachu. We go through the motions of making my order, and at the register I give her a big smile as I popped in a $5 bill into the tip cup. And I say, I hope you have a blessed day. She went red hot in the face when I did this, and she went to say something, when all of a sudden my old assistant manager comes out the front. He saw me and got really excited, and started talking about his promotion and wife. When the woman went into the back, my friend started laughing about how he could hear the petty in my voice from the back, that he had to come see the look on my face, and that our old manager would have been proud. My manager now works at a decent paying job, and she married her cop boyfriend. I have a decent job as well, and luckily I don't have to deal with customers at this one. Now, as I would have loved to do something truly petty, I refuse to stoop to her level. I've heard kill him with kindness my entire life when someone wrongs me, so I decided to try it that way. Especially since I know how rough it can be to work in customer service, and I didn't want to cause this woman the same level of stress and anxiety that she caused me. So all I have to say is good on OP for taking the high road, guys, because a lot of people in that position would have gotten their little revenge that day. And also, I'm a little surprised to hear that Karen got a job at the same Subway place after her stunt, but I guess 5 years did pass since OP worked there, and the woman was never arrested or blacklisted, so I guess crazier things could have happened. I'm a 25-year-old female, and my husband's a 30-year-old male, and we got married last Friday. We planned our dream wedding down to our dream catering company. The wedding was beautiful. After the pictures, we headed to our cocktail hour, and that's when I saw her. My guests were all told to wear dark colors, so my husband and I would stand out. I also asked my guests to wear minimal makeup, and I assumed that applied to the staff too. The server, who was around 19 years old, had on clearly too much eyeliner. She also had diamond studs in her ears and a flashy ring and one of those ugly nose studs. The staff's uniform was a black, long-sleeve shirt, but on her it was too low cut and her pants were far too tight. It was super distracting. She was walking around, serving drinks, and talking to my guests. It's at that point I asked another member of staff to speak to their boss. When their boss came out, I pointed out this server and asked that she be dealt with because she was super distracting on my wedding day. Their boss apologized and called the server back into the kitchen. But not even an hour later, the server was back out serving food for dinner. I called the boss over again and asked if the server could work in the back or to go home. Her boss said that they were short-staffed tonight, so she was needed on the floor to serve my guests food, but she would see what can be done. After a couple of hours of not seeing her, I saw the server again behind the bar. I called the boss out one last time and told her if the server didn't leave, I would be calling the cops. At that, the boss finally relented and told the girl to go home. My husband and mother-in-law said that I was acting crazy and that I probably got the poor kid fired over nothing. On the other hand, my mother and maid of honor said it's my wedding day, so I can do as I please. It's my wedding, and I don't want someone overshining me, and the server should know that she's at work and to not dress up so much. But I do feel kind of bad because she was pretty young, and hopefully I didn't get her fired, so am I the a-hole? Guys, I have read a lot of Bridezilla posts before, but this has gotta be up there as one of the most absurd posts. And I get it, okay? The bride has to be the center of attention on her wedding day, but it sounds to me that OP's demands were outrageous, like asking guests to dress a certain way, not wear too much makeup so they don't outshine her. Again, it's her wedding, like she's automatically above everyone. And to make it clear, it's not a beauty competition either. In the comments, guys, wow, OP is definitely the a-hole in this situation. This person says, I can't imagine how insecure you must be that you felt a woman in a server's uniform was overshining you at your own wedding. You are the a-hole. And this person says, you are the a-hole, but don't worry, I'm sure the catering team will get it right at your next wedding. Oof. Followed by this person's reply of, it's bold of you to assume that they'll serve her again. Followed by this person's reply of, it's bold of you to assume she'll get married again. Yikes, but guys, let me know what you think. And that, my friends, is r/EntitledPeople. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I hope you didn't shake your heads too hard, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, it's another r/EntitledPeople episode, where Karens are demanding the most outrageous things. Guys, go check it out if you haven't, and myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.